Previously on Abandoned and Forgotten Places, Episode 66.
There's a pressure vessel, otherwise known as an accumulator, hiding right down in there. There's what's left of a bucket of some kind. Hey Randy, I found your Daisy Dukes laying here on the ground. This is definitely a decline shaft. It goes all the way down in there.
Okay everybody, we're back over here by the winds. Technically, this is a decline shaft. Now let me explain that to you guys. Now understand that mining terminology differs between the western United States or the Rocky Mountain region and eastern United States in coal country. Out here in the west, an incline shaft is a shaft that comes in from surface and goes down into the mountain, okay? But a decline shaft is a shaft like what I'm standing in right now that comes up to the main haulage at it, okay, but doesn't go to the surface. Now, these can also be called winzes, all right? And a winze typically is just a short shaft or incline shaft that's going to go down, but they won't reach another level. They're just going into the ore body, but without getting into another level that drifts left and right. If it doesn't reach another drift, then you know you've got a winze. And winzes are always really recognizable because oftentimes they will have two upright boards here, and they would have what's called a windlass between those two boards, and that's what they would use to hand crank the ore or the tools up and out of the winze. All right, let's head down into this and see what we can find. Okay, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the rail. Gives me something to hold on to since I don't have a ladder. Well, I'll try not to kick up a bunch of dust. All right, what I'm going to do is turn around at this point and just maybe kind of go down on my butt and try not to snag an ass cheek on a nail. Let's see here. What can I hold on to? Oh boy. Okay, there we go. Old rickety ladders. Yeah. But at least it gives me something to stand on, you know? So I'm working our way down this thing. Yeah, that's much better. There we go. Okay. We're getting closer. But now we have another logistical problem. We got to get across the rail. And somehow wow, we're getting into what may very well be an older section of the mine here. Oh, wow. Oof. I do try hard not to kick up dust in these places, but sometimes it's just an impossibility. All right, what do we have over here?
Yeah, we have our small drift, but all it really does is gets up into more stopes. Yeah. There's the side of what looks like a chute over there. Turning back around, let me show you kind of where I just came from. Yeah. So the camera is sitting level, and that'll give you an idea of how steep that decline is. I'm gonna take a break a minute, guys. Take a drink of water. I'll be right back. There we go. Feel much better now. Don't want to get dehydrated in these places. Okay, let's keep on going down. This is going to be a real fun one, trying to climb back out of here. I'm going to be huffing and puffing like I ran a marathon. All right. Ooh, neat. Oh, cool. Okay, we found a drift. Right here, goes off that direction, and turning around, it goes off this direction. Let's take a look here first. We've got a barrel or a bucket of oil down here on the floor. Somebody's lunch, which was a can of soup. There's some safety fuse hanging off of a nail. So, okay, yeah, we're in a drift where they were sending material down from that stope that I just showed you. Let's see what's hiding up in here. See how they place those boards, those planks across the stalls there, so that up in the stope they can kind of create a funnel towards the ore chute. Yeah, we are definitely in an area of the mine now where most tourists dare not go, which is always a lot of fun, right? Wow. Very cool. Okay. Now, some of you down in the comment section will occasionally say, oh, I wish you would have pointed the camera at this or that. I do my best, but always understand that when I'm in these places, self-preservation is priority on my mind. So while I may be looking in another direction, making sure I don't have a big rock fall on my head or whatnot, I might not be pointing the camera right where you want to see. But I'm telling you, that's what's going on. And it looks like, yeah, that's as far as it goes right there. Okay, all right, back to the decline. See you over there. Okay. Now, we have to get over here on the other side of the rail on this decline, because now I really want to show you guys what might very well be hiding up over here in this drift. Now, before we go there, I want to show you this, how they did this with the track. The track comes down here by my feet, makes a sharp turn, and you see how they were dumping it right there into the skip car? That's pretty cool. So looks like those 80s prospectors were working up in here. Oh, that's interesting. I almost feel a little bit of air blowing in my face through this section. I thought I heard something there for a second. It's just an echo. Okay, what do we have up in here? Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Look at this ore chute. And you have some graffiti on there. People were down here in 75. There's one from 82. Well, so I guess we did have a few explorers in this mine besides me. Oh, see, now this is why I said, Randy, I said, you really need to come down there. You're just missing out. Look at that. Look at the pillar. And another big pillar over there. Look at the size of this place. Wow. Who would have thought that it would have opened up into such a large area this deep down? Now, as I pan down here, you see that ladder? That ladder is 20 feet tall, to give you an idea of the size of this place. All right. So we've got rail, and the compressor pipe still goes up this way. Here's a bunch of stuff that fell down from the stope. I'll show you where it came from. Right there. Okay, so as we work our way up in this drift, some of you in the past and down in the comments section have asked me, well, have you ever been in a mine during an earthquake? No, I have not, but I've read stories from miners that have, and they say that it gets pretty noisy because of all the rock moving around. Now, if you think about that for a second, during an earthquake, where would you rather be? If you were in the basement of a tall building, of course the basement's not going to move around very much. But if you were up on the 50th floor, you're going to be moving around a whole lot. And that's kind of the same principle in these mines. Wow, this just keeps going and going. Look at how much further we've got to go. Now, I got to be real careful here because I know for a fact that these rails are on some kind of a stalled false floor. Now, if you can look here, I'm going to show you what's down there. See that? I think there's a compressor pipe going down there, probably to the very last level. But up here on this level, we got to be careful of that type of feature You don't want to fall through a false floor. That wouldn't be good. Wow. They sure are working the vein through this area. Now this area here, it's probably 6 feet between there and this area. Oh, down here on the ground, there's some safety fuse. And see how it was put in a bundle like that? Each one of these would go off to a separate charge. And then they would bundle them into that area right there. Like that. Light the fuse and get. Okay. All right, yeah, it just keeps on going. Compressor pipe here goes up into that area, and they're working that stope. All right. I'm just kind of cruising through here at a pretty good pace because all of it is more or less the same thing, except for this really, look at that. Look at how they used little baby stalls, only 2 feet thick, to hold all that up, as well as platforms for the miners as they're cleaning that ore out of that crack. Pretty darn cool. All right, what's up here? There's a muck sheet. Another ore chute. Yeah, I just never would have guessed it would have turned out to be this extensive up in here. There's a bunch of old rotted timbers. Look at that. This area is receiving a little bit of groundwater. That's why those timbers are starting to rot. Oh, I think we're coming to the end. And indeed we are. And now you can see the edge of the ore body. And that right there is the material that they're taking out of this drift. All right, well, I'm going to work my way all the way back to the decline, and I think we can go a little bit deeper in this mine. Okay, guys, I'm back over here at the decline. A moment ago, I was just right up there. That's where we came from. Now, as I paced myself back from the face of that drift, I paced out approximately 2,000 feet. That drift was 2,000 feet, or pretty darn close to it, long. Oh, and another thing that I found when I was working my way back, I found a drill hole. So some company came in and core drilled this hill. As indeed there was a drill hole. Now the real question is, how deep does this go? Yikes. I'm holding on to this compressor pipe as I'm working my way down. There we go. I know I'm certain we got at least 100 feet. Because that's what they did, is each one of these drifts are going to be in 100-foot increments. Oof. Well, that's interesting. instead of going up and out of the mine, the dust I'm making is going down. You see that? All right. We might have something else here. Oh yeah. Indeed we do. Oh, and look. We got more modern ventilation pipe over there. And what else do we have up in here? Okay, so off to my left, well, there's a whole bunch of boxes of probably dynamite. The decline just keeps going. Oh boy. All right, well, we need to explore this next. That's what we need to do. So first, let me climb up this crazy ladder, and I'm gonna step over here to show you all of the dynamite boxes. Now these are newer. Of course, these are made out of cardboard. Now that one has an ICC number of 1965. See that? Right there. Now that's just the ICC. ICC stands for Interstate Commerce Commission. Let's see if we can't find some other markings on these boxes, huh? Fiberboard paper products, Stockton, California. Anything else? I'm just looking for anything that would indicate to me that these are dynamite boxes, but I'm not seeing anything. No, it's all the same. Okay. All right, turning back around. Okay, what are we doing here? There we go. I gotta step on this. Oh boy. Now I gotta get back on that ladder. There. Okay. So I'm gonna say at this point, we are what, 100, we're 200 feet deep into this. What's that? Oh, that's an old wheelbarrow. Right there. Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely at the 200. Oh boy. Okay, so look at this. All right, we got to drift off to the left, and of course one to the right, which, you know, of course is going to go back the same direction that we were on the previous drift. Boy, there's just so much cool stuff in here, guys. I'm almost a little bit overwhelmed. Well, let's look up in here because I can see a bunch of dynamite boxes. Look at this. Now let's... Oh, look here. Look on the ground there. Look at that. There's some, let me take a closer look at it. See that? That's vanadinite. That may be vanadinite. I won't know 100% until, oh yeah, definitely vanadinite. Right there. Ooh, beautiful. Look at all the little crystals on that rock there. Nice. Yep, they threw all their dynamite boxes up in here. Looks like they're all 100% empty. But I'm being very, very careful as I walk through this because you don't want to step on anything. All right, so the vent pipe goes down that way. Oh yeah, and I see a bunch of boot prints that where somebody walked down in there. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's turn the corner for right now. Oh, here's a can of Copenhagen. Empty. Who would like a pinch between your cheek and gum, huh? All right, that's as far as this goes. So why don't I just, I'll turn back around here and take you guys with me. Oh, there we go. Trojan explosives. Now I may come back and follow that vent tube, that venting down into that area. I just might do that. Ooh. Wow, look at the vanadinite. Look at that. See how that sparkles? Beautiful. But that rock is a bit too large for me to haul back up out of here. Okay. Let's see what we have hiding up past the ladders now. I sure am glad that we came down this decline. Look at all the great stuff that we're finding. There's a raise. I'm sorry, not a raise, but working into that stope. And so I would imagine that this one here is going to be another 2,000 feet long. Oh, look here. Look at the andesite through this section. See that? Yeah. Yeah, they took a sample right there, 2097. Now, as I'm walking through here, I'm always paying real close attention to what's down on the floor. It's always good to see dynamite laying on top of the rocks, but it's when you have a stick that's hiding underneath, and then you don't want to accidentally step on something like that because you're forcing the rock into the stick of dynamite. Now, it looks to me like, you know, of course, they were in here blasting and sampling during the 80s, so that's more modern explosives. I'm not going to be too afraid about that stuff. It's those really old mines with dynamite that's leaking nitroglycerin. That's the stuff you got to watch out for. Yeah, it's just, as I'm walking through here, stope after stope after stope. Just incredible. Now remember when we were up on that last level, I pointed down as I was standing on that false floor, and now we're below that area. All right, what do we have here? Yeah, I put a ladder in place. Somebody skinnied their way all the way up in there. Look at that. That's only like 20, I'm going to say it's like 20, 25 inches between the hanging wall and the footwall there. I guess his name was Slim, huh? Wow. Oh, look here. We have a dead cottontail rabbit. Nope, that's a jackrabbit. He made it all the way down here. How in the world did he make it all the way? Well, he just, you know, I don't know. It's crazy when you find critters this deep in the mine, isn't it? You gotta wonder, how in the heck did they get this deep? Ah, okay. Now look here. Down on the floor, you see how the track keeps going straight, and then at one time, right there, there was a track switch, and then you could go off this direction. And notice how this area has been filled in with waste rock. So what they did is, at one time, that was a stope between the next level below us and the level that we're at now, and they filled it in, or at least that part. And oftentimes that they will backfill a stope because they're doing that because they're removing ore-rich pillars. See, like this pillar right here. Look at that. Let's do a nice close-up of it for you. This is what they're mining, right there. This is what they are taking out of this mine. Okay. Ooh, boy, I'm just seeing juicy stuff. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at that. Is that not a beautiful vein or what? Would you look at that? Wow. What a cool mine. Yeah, more ladders up into those areas. Boy, I mean, I could just be down here for hours climbing ladders into stopes. But, I don't know, you see one, you kind of seen them all. But you never know, you could find artifacts. Here we go. Now that looks like a winze. Yep. That's not something that they're backfilling. The ore got pretty rich through here. And they kept on going down. Look at this tiny little pillar they left in place. Neat. I sure wish Randy would have came along. Boy, he's missing out, isn't he? He sure is. Look, right up there on that skull, there's a jackleg right there, holding that one up. Yeah, and see this water and material that's running down right here? That's from when they drilled the hill. Okay, we have reached the face once again. very good. With a lot of spray paint. Okay guys, back at the decline here. So that's where we were a moment ago. And here's the ladder. And of course it keeps on going down. Now, I decided that I wasn't gonna follow that vent pipe. Yeah, you just gotta kind of choose your battles in these places. I would much rather continue on down this decline to see what we can find down there, rather than spend a lot of time in those stopes. So we're about to find out if this is going to be 300 feet or if it's going to go even further. Well, I'm really liking the looks of the geology. The rock surrounding me here is in really good shape. It's not too... Oh, there. Slipped on that one. It's not too crumbly. Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna slip on my butt like that and there's gonna be a nail. Well, that's okay. I've got my tetanus shot. Ooh, boy, that kicked up a whole bunch of dust. Ah. Uh-oh, I think we've reached the bottom. Yeah. Well, we're about to find out. Look at here. We've reached the bottom, everyone. Okay, what do we have down in here? So this is technically this would be the sump. Yeah, I know it's a little dusty, but I'm not seeing anything too spectacular there. What do we have here? All right, another big drift. All right, let's climb up over these. Whoa. There we go. Okay, what do we have here? So what would that have been used for? That's an interesting looking piece of equipment there. It is about the width of the track. Interesting. I'm not 100% sure. Okay. What do we have at the very bottom of this mine? Oh, okay. Here's that vent pipe. Looks like a giant slinky. And an old wheelbarrow. Well, not too old. It has a rubber tire on it, you know. Okay. Drift goes off to the left. Down here in the ground, there is a bottle that says water on the side of it. Oh, those are filters for a mask. Now, I think I'm going to go this way first. Yeah, it seems like all the drifts that went left so far have just went a short ways and quit. There's a bunch of parts and pieces, bolts and plumbing. A little bit of everything going on there. Okay, ore chute coming down from the stope above us, and it keeps on going. There, that looks like an old muck sheet there. Yeah, we've got another one laying on the ground right up here. And just as suspected, the drift ends right there. Okay, I'll meet you back over there by the crossroads. Okay, we're back at the old wheelbarrow here. And now let's continue off this direction. And I can only imagine this one probably goes another 1,500 to 2,000 feet this direction, just like the other two drifts did. Yeah, oh, here's their, yeah, look at the size of the stope they're working here. Wow. Wow, this is real life Land of the Lost here. Maybe we'll find a slee stack. Any of you guys watch that show back in the 70s, Land of the Lost? Remember that? Oh, boy, wow. Talk about air quality immediately changing. It was like walking into a wall of sulfur. All right, let's be real careful going through his section. This is really crumbly and starting to fail. Yep, and that's why they had the ventilation pipe down in here. Oh, it's getting worse. What went off this direction? Let's look. Oh, it's just a bucket down in there. But that doesn't go anywhere. Yeah, this is a really, really sketchy. Well, I wouldn't say it's... I mean, it's just a crumbly area that they went through that's full of porphyry material. And that's why it's crumbling and falling. Yeah. And it's typical for hydrothermal formations like that. See, and just like that, now the air is getting better. There's someone's coat or jacket or something there. Yeah, drift. What do we had here? We were working up in that. Okay. Now when I start getting this deep down into these mines, 300, 400 feet, now I'm really, really looking on the ground for any unexploded dynamite and whatnot. Because if I blow a foot off, or the lower part of my leg in this deep down, that's going to be real hard to get me out of here. Oh, look at that, it turns and goes this direction. Cool. Oh, I see. Okay. It's not going to go too far. Lots of... Oh, here we go. Yeah. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, guys. Right there. There's 2 sticks. And there's a few more. And I can only imagine there's a few more in that bag right there. Giant powder company. Okay. What's over here? What in the heck was that? Oh, looks like it was an ore pass of some kind. Interesting. But it's just, yeah, they're just working into that stope, that's all. All right. Back down again. Oh, excuse me. Look at here. Hawking. Hawking is smokeless tobacco. Wow, look, I don't know if I caught this or not. I'm going to turn the camera around over here. But I'll show it to y'all one more time. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, and probably 4 or 5 more in that bag right there. Okay, let's get out of here. Oh, that's interesting. What was over here? Oh, okay. That didn't go anywhere. It kind of looked like it did. Now this is interesting. I see this from time to time in these mines. You see this stuff that looks like spider webs dangling off the back of the mine? I've always wondered what that is. I don't know if it's some kind of a mold or if it's something that the miners spray up against the back of the mine for rock stabilization. I'm not sure. All right, what do we have here? I'm going a little bit too fast. Yeah, I know. Okay, drill steel. Grease gun. That's about it. Can of oil. Yep. Oh, here's where they used their wheelbarrow and dumped waste rock up into this part of the drift. And an airline, and no, this one did not go a couple thousand feet like the others did. It stops right there, but look off to my left. Take a look at that. Look at that vein right there. So I'll use Mr. Laser from right there to there. That's about 16 inches across on that. Down here on the floor is another bag. Now that's a sample bag, but I'm afraid to touch it because it might have a couple sticks of dynamite in it, like we saw moments ago. Okay, I'm going to work my way back to the decline. If I see something cool, I'll be sure to hit record. Okay guys, I'm back up here on the 200 level. Now there's just no way I could go this deep in the mine without grabbing a rock specimen. So here on the 200 level was that pocket of vanadinite that I found right here. So I scratched around in here for a little bit and I found some really nice samples. This one here is just absolutely gorgeous. I cannot wait to get this one out in the sunshine. And then I got some smaller pieces. You know, of course I can't take big samples and throw them in my backpack. I still have 200 plus feet of decline shaft I have to climb up out of here. So I have some smaller ones here. I'm definitely going to put these up on the eBay site so that one of you guys can have some of this, a sample from this deep down in the mine. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, well, I'm going to head back out of here and meet up with Randy. I can only imagine he's probably saying, how much longer do I got to wait on you? All right, I'm headed back up. See you topside. All right, everybody, back outside, safe and sound. Boy, I'll tell you what, that was a heck of a crawl coming back out of that mine. So, okay, so here are those rock samples that I pulled off from the, I guess it would be right around the 300 level. Now, when I was down in there, I told you guys it was vanadinite, but now that I'm out here in the sunshine and I had a chance to take a look at some of these pieces with my Guadalupe here, it doesn't, it's not really red, and the crystals that I'm seeing down in here are not six-sided. So I'll do a little bit of research, and I'll let you know what I found here. There'll be a full description on the eBay site when I get them posted. But Randy, come on over here and show the folks. Get a good shot in on that. Isn't that some pretty stuff? Look at how shiny. That's just gorgeous. So a few samples for you folks from down in the mine this day, from today. Yeah, I like this one here. Isn't that one pretty? Look at that. Okay, well, we've got to get on out of here. Actually, what I'm going to do the rest of this afternoon, guys, is I'm going to recon the rest of this area. I know that there's a lot more really killer mines in this area. So we're going to look around and see what we can't find for you for next weekend. So with that, again, thank you so much for coming along. And to all my new subscribers, thank you so much. Holy cow, 6,000 new subscribers since July 4th. Can you believe that? I'm really happy you guys are enjoying the channel, but ultimately it's you guys that are making it a success because you like to watch this sort of thing, and boy, oh boy, do I love bringing it to you. Okay, I'm going to get on out of here. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.